Good morning, and thank you for joining us for Unscripted on 13 Plus. I'm Carson Courier. You are taking a live look out to Mount Bigelow on your Thursday morning. You can see a little windy up there, but it is a 13 First Alert Action Day. We have 13 First Alert meteorologist Dave Spar with us. Dave, lots of things going on, lots of different systems.
Yeah, the thing is for this is going to be that those winds that will reach the criteria of wind advisory. The precipitation part of the forecast doesn't get here till later in the day, so it's kind of like these hard, fair weather winds we're going to get, and blowing dust and sand. I hope I didn't hit your eardrums. Blowing sand and dust a little bit until the moisture gets here. So here's what we got right now. Not a bad picture. You're showing the trees earlier, Mount Bigelow, and this also as well, 61 at this hour now. Not much for winds out of the airport. That will change later today. So let's do that part of the forecast first. The winds. So here we have them. They pick up this afternoon in the arrival of our next system. I stopped it at 1 o'clock to give you a general kind of snapshot of winds approaching about 40 miles per hour, and they'll be exceeding that, but the rain is still far to the west of the Colorado River Valley. Winds actually move out before the precipitation part of the forecast, and when it's all said and done, at least for a time, Friday will be a little bit on the blustery side. It's going to be much colder and a mixed bag of sun and clouds, but there are your breezy conditions. It'll be outside advisory strength, but it'll be kind of blustery, and a return of some winds even into Saturday. We do have a little bit of a spurt happening on your Saturday morning, too. Let's march through this here. You saw the winds. They're going all afternoon. Here comes the precip. We'll say about 6 p.m. So your drive home, you'll be treated to heavy rain in spots here. You could actually get potentially some thunderstorms and some hail. That means you're getting updrafts and all that stuff. If it's enough of a criteria, they'll issue a severe thunderstorm warning. But for now, just prepare for thunderstorms with that and potential hail. Meanwhile, that'll march on through. For eclipse viewing tonight, looks like it's a mixed bag. You might get lucky in some of those clear patches there, so give it a try tonight, say around midnight, thereabouts. Meanwhile, the longer range forecast, that's tonight. That departs tomorrow. Then Saturday morning, that's what I was mentioning earlier, another last-minute spurt of some snows up in the mountains before things clear out. Then next week, all we have is these passing systems, which is more typical to March. This thing is out of season. This is not what you normally see in March. So what we'll see is little deviations of temperatures, clouds coming and going, and certainly those winds. But this nastiness that we're talking today is more like a January calendar thing. 68 for a high today, upper to middle 60s off towards the east. There's your 7-day forecast. And again, penciling in a little bit leftover rain Saturday morning, but the weekend looks okay for Sunday.
Okay. So Sunday definitely looks great for the Tucson Festival of Books.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay. And Saturday, maybe here
morning hours, not so great.
Okay, so maybe go in the afternoon.
Afternoon, yes,
Perfect.
That's right.
Awesome.
Correctamundo, yes.
Sounds good. Thank
betcha.
you, Dave. And, of course, we want to talk about the Tucson Festival of Books. Why not? It is starting this weekend. We know authors from all over the country, even some from just around the world, flying into Tucson, getting ready for this big event. But we have Bonnie Callahan here with us. She is a local Tucsonan. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Carson.
Yeah, of course.
So glad to be here.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited to have you here. I also heard that you are a Wildcat alum.
I am.
Okay,
yes.
well, so am I.
Yay,
so bear
go
down.
Cats.
I love that. Bear down, go Cats. To get started, let's talk a little bit about Tucson Festival of Books, then we'll talk about your books here. Okay. This is your third year attending as an author?
It is my third year as an author, yes. It is my first year participating on a panel. So
exciting.
That's exciting. Yeah.
Okay, so what are the different panels?
So on Saturday, I am moderating the Love Arizona panel, which will
Perfect.
have authors, yes, it's so fun, Neely Tubati Alexander, Sarah T. Dubb, and Jen DeLuca, who are all Arizona authors, Arizona romance authors. And then on Sunday afternoon, I have a panel with TJ Alexander and Adriana Herrera, who are romance writers who write past and present. So it's people who do historical romance and also contemporary.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So do you remember going to maybe the Tucson Festival of Books growing up?
You know, it started...
it didn't start that long ago.
I know, which
around,
always
like
surprises
2009.
me. It feels
yeah.
like it's been around forever.
Yeah.
I was actually living out of state when it started, but I remember coming back and it was already huge.
Yeah.
I mean, they have over 100,000 people coming every year from Arizona and all over the country. So
how exciting is it to you that you just get to be on a panel on your old campus in your hometown talking about what you love? That has to be pretty cool.
It's amazing. I mean, honestly, it's a dream to make it here. I have published independently in the past, and so as a self-published author, it's extra special to get to sort of be included in this whole system, in these groups, and get to discuss these things with people who I admire. Some of them are the first romance authors I ever read. So they're my heroes.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Well, I'm super proud of you. That's awesome to hear. Tell me a little bit about, you said you have 3 books.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about them. Are they a part of a series?
No.
Okay.
The first is a contemporary romance called Remy versus Rome that takes place in Rome. And that was really fun to write. That was my pandemic book, and I basically got to spend all of my writing time visiting Rome mentally. And I studied Italian at the university, so it was really fun to draw on that. And I actually met my husband doing the Orvieto Study Abroad program.
Wow.
So to sort of revisit all those things from the comfort of our home while we were all on lockdown was really awesome. The second is a historical sort of fantasy romance that takes place in ancient Greece. And then the newest, which came out in October, is On Principle, and this one takes place in Tucson.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh. While we continue talking about this, I'm actually going to pull up your website here. There you go. You can see the cover of the book. So tell us a little bit about this, your latest book.
So On Principle sort of exists at the intersection of women's fiction and romance, in that it does not focus strictly on the romance, but also on the main character's personal growth. It's essentially a romantic comedy that addresses...
I love that.
Yeah, it's fun, and it addresses some heavier topics. So it's like an interesting balance, but hopefully a reader will get a few good laughs out of the read, and then... if I did my job well, maybe even a cry or two.
Yeah.
The story follows Emmy Jones, who is a teacher at a school for students experiencing poverty. And she's basically dedicated her entire adult life to these kids and the school, and has no time or energy left for things like falling in love. However, a friend convinces her to go to Vegas, where she shares a lovely evening with a charming Irishman named Tommy. But what happens in Vegas doesn't stay there, and upon returning to Tucson, she discovers that he is her new head of school.
Oh, no.
And per the title, Emmy's the kind of person who always stands by her principles and wants to do the right thing, which decidedly does not include dating her boss, even if she really, really wants to. So therein lies the predicament.
This sounds like this is like a book that I would love. I'm gonna have to read it. I'm going to have to read it, especially because the whole Tucson and oh my gosh, it's so exciting.
It's been fun talking to locals too, because it never explicitly says Tucson, but people are like, you mentioned Rodeo Break, you mentioned the River Walk, like this is Tucson, right? And it's like, yes.
You're
and
like,
Jumping Choya. I mean, like, all our big things.
Exactly. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
If anybody's interested in reading, buying any of your books, where can they find them?
The books are available on Amazon and a few other retailers online. At the book fair, I will be doing signings and sales at the end of each panel, and then on Sunday, I will be at the Indie Pavilion from 10 to 1. With all 3 books.
Perfect. Okay, last question here, because I'm always so interested. Is this something, like, have you always wanted to be an author, or is this something that kind of came to you a little bit later in life?
I think as a kid I did want to be an author, but I always wanted to be a lot of things. And then it sort of offered this really great creative outlet during the pandemic, which is when I first started reading romance, and I took a class through UCLA. And I was like, oh, I love this. So yes, it was always there. I didn't know it would ever actually happen, but it did. So
that is so inspiring, honestly. I've always said, and I said this yesterday when I was speaking to another author, I'm like, I've always wanted to write a book, but it's so hard to actually get there, sit down, do it. Then there's that thought, like, is this going to stick? Like, will anybody care? So congratulations.
That thought never goes away, but you should definitely write your book regardless.
Okay, well, maybe I will. Maybe I will. Anything else that you want to mention?
No, I hope to see a lot of you at the book fair on Saturday or Sunday, and I hope everybody has a great weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will be out there. I will come see you.
Good. I'd love that.
Yes, perfect. Really quick before we go, I will pull back up Bonnie's website here. So if you're interested in just reading a little bit more about her books, it is BonnieCallahanBooks.com. You can see here. We'll go ahead and scroll down through the website here. There's her 2 other books. I love the covers too.
I have a great cover artist. She's been so fun to work with.
Oh my gosh, absolutely beautiful. Love the colors. But yeah, Bonnie, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me, Carson.
Of course, of course. We will go ahead and end this Fastcast with a look at Mount Bigelow again. A reminder, it is a 13 First Alert Action Day, so make sure to download our 13 First Alert app to get the latest push alerts about weather in your area. And also download our 13 News mobile app as well. That gives you the latest updates on live, local, late-breaking news. Thank you so much for joining us on your Thursday. We'll be right back here tomorrow morning at 9:30. Have a great day.